I'd like to invite us to explore the theme of dedication, dedication of merit, dedication of goodness, as synonymous with practicing metta. All right, I'm going to pause for a moment. Let you just take that in. And let you sit with what it might mean for metta, this cultivation of goodness, sharing goodness, goodwill with ourselves, with the world, for it to be synonymous with this practice that we often do. Sometimes maybe it just feels like a formality. We do it at the end of every sit or every practice period, which is a dedication of merit, dedicating the goodness that's been generated to the well-being of all beings everywhere. So I want to invite you to consider that those two practices actually, in some ways, are one and the same. Actually, let me say, it's actually perhaps more like a Venn diagram, that there is a large area of similarity between the two practices. There are some differences, so I want to allow for that. And if this was a longer talk and longer teaching, I would explore the differences too. But for the purpose of this exploration, I'd like us to explore the similarity, not the differences. Let go of that now that I've introduced it. Let go of that and just let your heart feel into the similarity, into what's the same when one is dedicating goodness, when one is dedicating, say, the goodness that has arisen from one's practice, or the goodness of one's intention, or the goodness of one's heart, the intentionality. Even if, say, for example, you intended to have a quiet sit and the mind was all over the place, but that intention, there was an intention of goodness and the planting of seeds to dedicate that both to yourself and to others. It's acknowledging. So in some level, it's acknowledging goodness, that, oh, there is goodness here. There is goodness here. This intention of wholesomeness, of cultivation, of kindness, of goodwill. As shoddy as it may feel, as shoddy as it may be, oh, there is goodness here. Oh. And let that be a fulfilling, a gladdening of one's own heart, an enriching, a dedication both to oneself and to others. There's also another important dimension here that I'd like to invite us to explore. And that is the dimension of radical generosity. Okay, why generosity? Well, with metta, there's radical generosity of wishing ourselves, wishing others, etc., in concentric circles, in ever-expanding concentric circles. Wishing people we have challenges with, wishing all beings everywhere. There's a sense of generosity in the cultivation of the ever-expanding circles. The same way with dedicating merit, this goodness, trusting in the goodness. That's number one. Trusting there is goodness here. Trusting, recognizing there is goodness. That's really step one. And step two is not attaching to it, not keeping it for ourselves, recognizing that yes, it's here. and generously sharing it with others. May my life, may this goodness, may my life be an offering to others for the well-being of all beings everywhere. And that's another dimension that I like to bring in at the end. What if we lived our lives as a dedication? The goodness that's generated, even if it feels shoddy, but recognizing the goodness there is here. And this can be a very profound practice. So there's so much more I can say about this. In fact, I wrote an article about the dedication of merit some time ago that appeared, and maybe I'll put a pointer to it, that appeared in the Buddha Dharma magazine, exploring these different dimensions.